Today on Healthy Happy Soul TV, I share why self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Hey there, and welcome to Healthy Happy Soul TV for another week. My name's Stacey and I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful and I'm really excited to share. Now today it's part 2 of the topic I was talking about last week, which is adrenal fatigue, burnout, stress, overwhelm, busyness. I really hope that last week's episode that challenged you, made you think a little bit differently. If you haven't watched that yet, make sure you go back and watch it, because today we're going to tackle that topic from a slightly different angle, but it all works together, so make sure you go and watch it. I want to just sort of frame it up with the thought that self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. And then we're going to look at a verse. This is in Matthew chapter 22, verses 37. And just the context around this verse is that the Pharisees are trying to sort of test Jesus, and they're asking him, what's the greatest law? What's the greatest command? And Jesus answers them. So Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself." And in the Message version, that little part, I want to really zone in on that, love your neighbor as yourself. In the Message version, it says, love others as well as you love yourself. Love others as well as you love yourself. And so often, I think as amazing followers of Jesus, the body of Christ, we're just out there to save the world. And so we read that and we go, love your neighbor, full stop. All right, I've got to get out there, I've got to love my neighbor, I've got to go and, help the community and do this charity project and serve at church and, be serving my friends and being with my family and all these great things. I'm out there, I'm trying to just love on everyone and, love my neighbor. That's the command. But, we really miss, there's a really important second little part, just a couple of words after that, love your neighbor. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. Or in the Message where it says love others as well as you love yourself. And so my challenge question to you guys today is, how can we love others well if we don't love ourselves well? That's pretty big when you think about it. How can we love others well if we don't love ourselves well first? It says as yourself. Love others as well as you love yourself. Love others, love your neighbor as yourself. And so I break that down into 2 parts. So loving yourself means that you have worth, you have value, you have a purpose, so you know those things. So you love yourself, you have this, you've received that love, that really deep love, that you know those things. So then you can share that with others. But also it comes down just to the practical, that you love yourself well, you care for yourself well in the practical. So that's things like getting, enough sleep and enough rest, that you're, using food to fuel your body, you're moving your body, you're making sure that you, live within the healthy boundaries that God sets for us, which I talked about last week. So loving ourselves well first, so that we can go and share all that on the world around us. It's a little bit counterintuitive, it's countercultural. That's not how we work in society. We think we're going to go and, save everyone else first, and then I'll get to myself a bit later. But what it says here, it says, love others as well as you love yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. How can we love others well if we don't love ourselves well first? We can't pour from an empty cup. And God just, he just smashed me with an image for this, which really was so profound. And so when you fly, they have the little safety cards and you read them, and if you're like me, who's not really a big fan of flying, I read it, I study it, I make sure that I know exactly what to do if anything goes down. There's that little part where it shows what to do if the air mask dropped down, and I hope that never happens to you, and I hope it never happens to me. But it has an image of an adult and a child sitting beside them, and I always assume that's like the parent and the child. And so if the air mask were to drop down, your first instinct and reaction would be to, put the air mask on the child, to save them, to help them, because they're small and, helpless, and they need help. They don't know what's going on. So we want to try and do that. But the image so clearly shows to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you assist them or other people around you. Because we can't go and assist others. We can't assist if we're passed out because we have a lack of oxygen. So we can't help if we haven't first helped and administered to ourselves first. And that's, you know, the same in the world. I find that we are out there are people and they are just starving for oxygen. They are screaming for breath. They are suffocating, and yet they're so busy trying to apply the oxygen mask to everyone else around them. And that breaks my heart. That really breaks my heart. Because just imagine how much more effective, how much more impact you can have if you are full, if you're full to overflow, if you are rested, if you are strong, if you are healthy, if you are well, spirit, soul, and body. How much more impact, how much more effectiveness can you have on the world around you? And so I just want to challenge you guys with that. I really want to bring that message to you. You know, when God first dropped into my spirit, you know, healthy, happy soul and this whole thing, he really gave me this one really super clear sentence, and it was, you know, how much more effective could the body of Christ be if we were healthy and well? Think about that. You know, if we are healthy and well, how much more impact and effectiveness can we have on the world? You know, I really believe that we should be the role models for this, that people should be looking to us for how to do life well, for how to balance, to not be stressed and overwhelmed, to be caring for what God's entrusted to us. You know, so I really, really just pray that you take this on board, that this does something, that it causes you to have a little mindset shift, that it challenges you. And if it does, please let me know. Please give me your feedback. And please, would you do me the favor and share this message? So if you know someone who needs to hear this, please share it with them or comment below and tag them in it. Get this message out there. You know, we need to be on mission, on fire, taking what we've got. You know, you have something so special, only you can give the world. Only you. And if you are burnt out, if you're knocked out, if you're in bed and you can't bring it to the world misses out. And that's a tragedy. The world is screaming for what you have. They need it. But what that means is we need to live within healthy boundaries and care for ourselves. Self-care isn't selfish, beautiful peeps. It's essential. So prioritize that. Make sure you don't let the enemy rob you of the fullness of the life that God has for you. Have an amazing week. I really pray that this has blessed you, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.